Hi, I'm Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years, and today I have my special guest. She's daughter of the book Writers of Meaning, no other than Miss Valerie Flynn.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm fabulous like you, Miss Valerie. And can you please introduce more about yourself?
Sure. I'm a podcaster. I'm a author, and I'm also a learner. And I used to work in media production for 30 plus years with my dad and my brother years ago. And then when father passed away, I settled down into being a caregiver for my mom and taking care of my family and that kind of stuff. And she's the one who encouraged me to write. And one thing led to another over the years, and I was involved with my writers group, and we collaborated for 2 years for this book, Writers of Meaning, an anthology on community.
Miss Valerie Flynn, thank you so much for sharing your talent to the world.
Thank you very much.
What what is the central theme of Writers of Meaning, an anthology on community?
The central theme,
Yes.
it's basically on community. It's a book of uh, essays as well as stories that all touch on community and relationships in one way or another. Um, and it was a collaborative community uh, thing that we did in our little corner of the internet, where we all have good-hearted, um, good faith dialogue with each other about many different things. Um, we come from all walks of life and political spectrum, as well as religious and non-religious and so forth. And we wanted to do a book to kind of galvanize our community and help raise funds for the pastors who help inspire the community to happen online and in real life across the world. And so that's what the purpose of this book was about. Um, does that answer your question?
Yes, indeed. So, how do the contributors define community in their writings?
Um, well, we had one story by Jordan, who's the main guy who started the idea for the book. Is he wrote uh, a sci-fi piece on what would happen after an alien invasion, the aftermath of it, and so he had letters uh, that were written from a lady who survived the attack, and they were all on this ship together on this boat, old warship, and they're sailing to another island to try to like find other people and stuff. And it was about how everybody was upset and um, uh, argumentative and everything, and then how slowly they gelled together as a group. And I won't say spoilers, but it's told over the progression of different short, tiny letters that lady is writing to herself on scrap pieces of paper that she was able to find. Um, there's a gentleman who wrote a screenplay, and in the book is a snippet up from that screenplay from many different stories, and it's about Merlin, and it's a story about how we are interacting with each other. Sometimes we hide our true selves in order to help other people and to help ourselves, and how the story of Merlin is pretty much showcasing how people change and grow closer together and come to true community with each other and true right relationship with one another. And it uses a lot of symbolism and so forth. Um, I wrote three pieces for the book. One was Geeks, Rabbits, and Meaning, and it talks about my journey from my own personal community that I'm a part of, my geek family, and then in bridging it to my online community that I'm a part of, and it talks about you know, the thread run through it. All the thing that's common to all three of those things is community, and one of the things is I'm disabled. I have vision and hearing handicaps, and so does my family. Um, and uh, one of the challenges for my mom and my sister-in-law with their health condition is they just can't go out and hang out and go to different events and become part of a community. So I wrote a piece dedicated to them and other people who have health challenges and disabilities that impede them from going out and getting involved in community. What are those challenges? It's not like it's not a whining piece. It's not, oh, everything's tragic. It's like, okay, this is what people are really dealing with. And um, maybe there's some options out there. Like maybe somebody could invent Braille for ham radio. I don't know. Um, and then the other one was a piece I wrote on emergency preparedness, the self-reliant community. I talked about the progression with how uh, it, how it shifted and changed over 30 years from a tinfoil hat conspiracy theory movement to a very community-oriented, fire safety kind of mentality. And I talked about that. Let me look in my book here so I can look up the other people who wrote. Um, uh, One gentleman who's the founder of our writers group, Josh, he wrote about alchemy, the transmutation of community, and how alchemy transformed people from one position in life to another, like a husband and like fiancés into husband and wife. Um, and so it's kind of an interesting take on that. It's a very enjoyable read. There's several different articles talking about estuary. Estuary is a conversational protocol to facilitate people not dominating the conversation, and it's to have more meaningful, deeper, richer conversations with each other. It's more of a good faith conversation um, about is the more open minded and more um, good faith dialogue partners you have, the better it goes. And so this is a movement that's been born out of our little corner of the internet. And so we have a couple of different pieces talking about estuary. One of them is talking about estuary an antidote to cancel culture, where everybody is, you know, us against them mentality instead of trying to learn and understand each other and build from there. Um, you can agree to disagree kind of thing as well. Um, but uh, in order to understand each other, we need to like have mutual respect, and so estuary is kind of this um, conversational protocol for like a small group to actually have dialogue, good faith dialogue with each other. And sometimes people feel adrift in just the chit chat of life instead of diving a little bit deeper into deeper conversation. And so that piece was done by John Van Donk, which was Pastor Paul's friend. They collaborated together on the estuary. Um, and and uh, Pastor Paul Vanderklay is a member of a Christian denomination called the CRC, the Christian Reformed Church. And their um, newsletter magazine for their denomination sent a reporter to talk to Paul Vanderklay and John Van Donk to find out more about estuary and what it was and the whole little corner of the internet that developed around him, the community that's happened, both online and offline. There's been numerous um, events and festivals and conventions across the world, and also uh, it the estuary meetups are across the world as well. There's a website dedicated to it, um, and so Dan Viederman is the author of the article that was published in the Banner, which is the newsletter magazine for the CRC denomination. And we were able to contact them, and they kindly gave us permission to reprint their article, and that's in the book as well. Um, Let me see what other pieces in here we have. Um, a husband and wife, Chad and Anne, who wrote little pieces that as they were courting, excuse me, I apologize, as they were courting, um, they they developed this little tradition of writing stuff together. And so their first pieces that they wrote were based on relationships, and they're stories that are not finished, but they're really good. And they talk about the lack of relationships and the lack of community. And so that's another piece that's also in the anthology.
So, Miss Valerie, how do the writers address the challenges of building and maintaining strong community?
How do they deal with the
Address,
challenge? How do
yes,
they
address
address?
the challenges of building and maintaining strong community.
One is not to run away from the things that divide us. And m- many people have their identity threatened when they're confronted with an ideology or a controversial topic, or uh, a particular type of religion, whether it's Christianity or maybe even, being an atheist and agnostic is threatening to somebody of a faith. Um, and so our little community was born organically, um, by people attracted to Paul Van der Clay to be to have more deeper conversations with people they don't agree with. Um, and so that's kind of been the bedrock of what worked for us online and also in real life. Um, Not everybody can do it. Not everybody is willing to do that. There's a concept that Diane Glacier, if I'm saying her name right, she wrote Bandersnatch, um, which is a look on uh, C.S. Lewis and the Inklings and how that community formed and so forth. But she, for the last since 2015, has been asked to do different speaking events for um, on the topic and the the theme of intellectual hospitality. And even though we didn't know it, we were personifying intellectual hospitality. This doesn't mean you stuff down your beliefs and do a fake tolerance of those you disagree with. Even in my geek family, um, I'm kind of like the only um, conservative of the group. I'm more of a moderate conservative, but most of them tend to be more liberal or moderates. And so sometimes politics kind of bubble up. And
Mhm.
so we have to navigate those waters together. We have built, I've been friends with them for over 10 plus years, like 11, 13 years now. And we have that mutual respect. We understand each other's character. That we're good faith conversation partners. And so in order to form community, we gather around things that we love and are passionate about and that unite us. But what happens in the Inklings, as well as the our little corner of the internet, as well as the basketball club, is different people from different walks of life will gather together under one, one or a set of common things that they like or enjoy or, you know, feel united by. And then you have to navigate the differences, and you do that with mutual respect and love. I hope that helps.
Yes, really helps. So, Miss Valerie, what would be your advice for those people out there want to write their first novel or writing?
I did a lot of research, and there's there's kind of like you got to move forward and do stuff, but you also have to educate yourself at the same time. Um, what helped me, what what ended up being my path may not work for you. I ended up uh, being involved with a writers group that were very like-minded, which for me is not very common in media and in publishing. Most people are very liberal. We're all Christian conservatives, but uh, they're very creative. They're well written, and we decided to do a book together, and that's how this was born. Um, if you want to write, there's two things. There's two different types of books. There's the useful book, and then there's the write what you know book, whether it's fiction or nonfiction. The useful book will be more of nonfiction, um, but there could be memoirs and whatever. Um, there's a balance, I think, is you got to figure out which way you're gonna go. Do you want to do you want to write a book uh, for your own self, or do you want to write a book that sells? And if there's a concept called right to market, um, you might want to check out some of the resources online. People are welcome to contact me, and I'd be glad to answer questions as I've been collecting links for a long time and books. I've been reading lots of writers' books for a long time. Um, so I'd be glad to give one-on-one, you know, answers to questions. But you have to decide which is more important to you: write what you love or m- make sales. And sometimes there's a balance in both. So I don't think it's one or the other. I think we kind of figure out how to do both at the same time. Um, and I'm just in the beginning parts of my writing journey. This is my first book, and I'll probably do more in the future. Um, learn as much as you can, grow as much as you can. I've been told, I don't know if it's true, that a book transforms you, and and hopefully for the better. Hopefully
For
for the better.
sure. For
And
sure, for
so
the better.
people they they share that. So I hope that answers some of your question.
So, Miss Valerie, what will be your short term and long term goals in writing?
My short-term goal is to help promote the book, but more important than just selling books, we're just trying to get the word out about estuary and about having communities that have deeper and more meaningful conversations with each other. We just want to let people know that it is possible and you can do it. You don't need to be a part of our little corner to do estuary. Um, and we just want to encourage people to find um, kindred spirits that might be different than you. That seems to be um, the magic thing that helps more of this happen. Um, that's my short-term goal. So, and my long-term goal is actually to start a different type of community for myself. I have a podcast, and I'm going to be starting a so it's called NAR Fellowship, and I'm going to call it the NAR Fellowship Learning Club, where I we have a number of participants and contributors who are members of the estuary, but it's not the right fit for me. I would rather meet other learners like myself and learn from them and just become friends with them. And so that's my long term journey. And my podcast is really me learning from other learners asking them questions about things I'm curious about, and um, maybe making a book out of it. I'm not quite sure how that's going to shape up or evolve over time, but that's my long term goal.
Good luck to your goals, Miss Valerie. So, to wrap up our discussion for today, how does writers of meaning encourage readers to find or redefine their place within their communities?
How does it encourage
Readers
readers?
to find or redefine their place within their communities.
We're all different, and we all have. It was. It's like there's a unity in humanity and a unity in community, but there's also a lot of diversity. And um, you don't have to have uniformity to have unity. And our little eclectic book has different voices and different um, perspectives on that. One of the pieces I neglected to mention was Julian's piece on his journey in our little corner of the internet, go and his transformation. That the community encouraged him, and he's a Hutterite, and he's very firm in his beliefs, and this gave him a lot of a, a learning journey of his own, a transformation from being very, you know, um, my way or the highway kind of person to being more embracing of the people while still holding true to his values. So there's, I hope that the book encourages people to stay true to who they really are, be centered in who they are, but to be curious about other viewpoints and be other people's voices. I hope that helps.
Miss Valerie Flynn, thank you so much for sharing your anthology to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support writers of meaning? Miss Valerie,
Yes,
can you please invite our listeners to support writers of meaning?
sure. You can contact us on our website, writersofmeaning.com. Writersofmeaning.com. We are working on the preliminary stages of a new book, so please stay in touch with us on our website, writersofmeaning.com. And thank you very much.
Sorry. Well, let's support Miss Valerie Flynn because if you support her, more anthology to come. So, Miss Valerie, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me on. Take care.
Modicam people, see you soon. You are most welcome to come back, Miss Valerie, and talk about your book.